And Iran's military has threatened to completely shut down the strategic Strait of Hormuz, and that is if the U.S. president acts on threats to target the country's power plants. Listen to this first.
If the United States threats regarding Iran's power plants are carried out, the following punitive measures will be taken immediately. 1. The Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed, and it will not be reopened until our destroyed power plants are rebuilt. 2. All power plants, energy, and information and communications technology, ICT, infrastructure of the Zionist regime will be widely targeted. 3. All similar companies in the region that have American shareholders will be completely destroyed. 4. The power plants of the countries in the region that host American bases will be our legitimate targets.
This is in addition to its threat of striking desalination infrastructure across West Asia if its power infrastructure is hit.
Now, Hossein Kermapur, Iran's health ministry spokesperson, has warned of humanitarian catastrophe from strikes on power and water systems. Now, he compared it to the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
As Trump's 48-hour deadline looms, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that his country would not be swayed by more threats, while adding that the strait is not closed. In a post on social media, he said, I quote here, ships hesitate because insurers fear the war of choice you initiated and not Iran, quote unquote.
Now, 20% of the world's crude oil and liquefied natural gas normally passes through Hormuz, but traffic through the vital strait has been brought to a near standstill since the start of the war. In recent days, Iran has allowed some vessels from countries it considers friendly to pass, while warning it would block ships from countries it says have joined the aggression against it.
Iran's parliament is mulling imposing tolls on shipping through the strait. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said maritime traffic would not return to its pre-war status.
Now, amid this, Iranians in the capital Tehran staged a pro-government rally on Sunday. Many waved Iranian flags and others held images of new leader Mojtaba Khamenei.
The war has entered well into its fourth week now, with Israel and the U.S. continuing strikes on Iran. The U.S. in Central Command has released new videos showing strikes on various military targets in Iran. In a post on social media, CENTCOM said that the U.S. forces continue to eliminate Iranian regime's one-way attack drone capabilities.
And this comes as Trump's Treasury Secretary has said that U.S. may escalate its attack against Iran to be able to wind down the war.
He said he could wind the war down at any time he wants. And, Kristen, this is the only language the Iranians understand.
Iran also continues its retaliatory strikes. At least one Iranian missile-carrying cluster of warheads was seen in the night sky over Israel, Jerusalem and the occupied West Bank after midnight on Monday. It is yet to be confirmed whether it was more than one missile that was spotted, with smaller bombs spreading out. UAE, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain also reported interceptions of Iranian drones.
And to discuss the situation further, we're now being joined live by Nadir Hashmi, Associate Professor of Middle East and Islamic Politics at Georgetown University. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us. So let me just begin with the situation right now. We're 27 hours into the warning that Trump had given. And so far, when you look at the threats that Trump has given, Iran has retaliated furthermore. There hasn't been any less attacks. Furthermore, they've escalated. Example, the attacks on Dimona and Arad in Israel. Where do you think this is leading in this current situation?
Well, it looks like we're headed for a monumental and catastrophic disaster. And the primary person responsible for this disaster is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. He clearly has bitten off more than he can chew. He thought that Iran was Venezuela and that he could simply send a major American military armada on Iran's shores and that Iran would then capitulate like Venezuela did in early January. And he had no plan B. So now that Iran is fighting back, Donald Trump really doesn't know what to do except escalate, hoping that he can declare some sort of victory. But it's clear that Iran still has a lot of firepower, a lot of stamina, and an ability to shut the Straits of Hormuz. So my own reading is that we are headed for very dark days if Donald Trump acts on his promise to attack Iran's electricity infrastructure, and then Iran hits back at regional states. Then this war is going to increase exponentially in terms of its lethality, its destabilizing effects, and especially its effects on the global economy.
Professor Hashemi, statements like, and rather threats like 48-hour deadlines being set by the US president, is it only set to bring in more embarrassment at this point? Because there is nothing to suggest that Iran is going to be is going to capitulate or is going to agree to these kind of terms or this kind of language coming in from the US. They've made it clear that they're not cowing down. They are going to fight back as they are, regardless of how diminished their abilities may still be. They are still able to penetrate through and prove US and Israeli air defenses to be porous with the recent attacks in Dimona and Arad. How do you, is this showing a desperation from the Trump camp at this point that they're still resorting to these kind of statements?
I agree. It is. I don't think Donald Trump knows what to do, and I think he's surrounded by very hawkish advisors who are all in the Benjamin Netanyahu camp, and they believe that just hitting Iran hard enough over a period of time will force a capitulation. I don't see that happening. So yes, I think Iran now seems to be very much in control of the pace and the duration of this war. Let's not forget, for Iran, this is an existential crisis for the Islamic Republic. The United States and Israel assassinated the supreme leader and over 60 of Iran's senior generals, and they've openly been claiming that they want regime change. So Iran is fighting back with everything that they can, and it seems like they want to carry this war on until there can be some sort of resolution where Iran can break out of the box that it's been put in by the United States in terms of these crippling sanctions, and also in terms of some sort of guarantee to be negotiated someplace down the road where the United States and Israel promise they will not attack Iran again. But for that to happen, there has to be some sort of diplomatic track. And right now there is zero diplomacy happening. So if you were to ask me today to bet, I would bet that we're headed for a major escalation of this war with its concomitant global destabilizing effects.
I agree that you're leading to a major escalation, but I don't agree. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Iran is in control at this point. They are taking a major amount of damage.
Yeah.
Correct. They are. I mean, but they were absorbing these blows and they're still firing back.
They are fighting.
So,
no doubt.
So, I mean, you're right. I mean, let's not forget, Iran is obviously the weaker party here. It can't match the military might of the United States and Israel, both nuclear powers, both major sort of military might at the disposal. But Iran has been able to play an asymmetric form of warfare where they're putting pressure on Donald Trump indirectly by hitting his allies in the region, by essentially destabilizing the economic underpinnings of his closest allies in the